There's over 100 suburbs across 8 counties in the Twin Cities, but which one is best for you? Today I'm going to rank for you the worst and best suburbs around the Twin Cities, help you choose which one's right for you, which one's going to give you the best value, and which ones you might want to steer clear of. After helping hundreds of families buy and sell homes and dozens relocate to the Twin Cities, I've spent a ton of time, and I'm going to share all that insider information with you in less than 30 minutes. And while we rank these suburbs on traditional metrics like school ratings and property values, I'm also going to show you which ones are best at delivering that unique Minnesota lifestyle where you can truly embrace all 4 seasons and everything our state has to offer. And stick around to the end because I'm going to share 3 insider secrets about some upcoming suburbs that have caught my eye, which I think could save you thousands of dollars in 2025. Let's start with Tier 5. These are the suburbs you might want to reconsider in 2025. Now, I want to be really clear here. Every suburb has its pros and cons, but these are the areas that it might be perfect for some people, but not for others. But there are some crucial things that you'll want to know before you buy here. Let me give you the real scoop on New Hope. That $268,000 median home value, there's a reason for it. And it's not all negative. First off, if you're an investor or a first-time home buyer specifically, this could be a great opportunity, and here's why. The city just approved a massive redevelopment plan for the city of New Hope City Center. We're talking about 15 acres of mixed-use development. This is going to include retail, restaurants, some modern apartments, and it's a $95 million project that's set to break ground this spring in 2025. So we've also seen, in addition to the last major project that they did with the City Center Community Center Park, there's a big water park and everything there. So in addition to those 2 things, I've seen property values already ticking up, and I think they are poised to do even more this coming year. Now, about those 6 out of 10 rated schools, here's what the raw numbers don't tell you. Cooper High School just launched a new STEM program that partners with local community colleges, and they're seeing some impressive results. Their college acceptance rates actually just jumped from 76% to 84% last year alone. So if that trend continues, we could definitely see those school ratings improve significantly. But let's talk about some of the challenges because I also want to give you the full picture. The biggest issue with New Hope right now is the infrastructure. Some of these areas need significant updating to their roads and utilities. So the city has approved funding for those projects as well, but they're not going to be happening for the next 3 to 5 years, and they're happening pretty slowly, kind of block by block. Richfield is another fascinating city because it's actually a tale of 2 different cities within the one community. That $313,000 median home value, it's going to vary dramatically depending on which part of Richfield that you're living in. So let me break it down by 2 of the main neighborhoods. East Richfield, specifically around Wood Lake and the Nature Center there, is seeing some significant appreciation in their home values. Homes here have been selling for about 8 to 12% above the median sale price. There is some airport noise in this area, but it's going to be fairly minimal. And of course, you can be close to amazing amenities, including the Nature Center, which has 150 acres of wetlands and walking trails. While some people have a negative opinion about Richfield, they did just approve another $12 million safety improvement project. And so that's going to include better lighting, security cameras, and some community policing initiatives. If you're finding this helpful so far, do me a quick favor and just hit that like button for us. It would be a huge help. And drop us a comment as well. Let us know which suburbs you're most interested in. If you have a question, I'm happy to answer those for you as well. Moving up to Tier 4, we've got some suburbs that are generally good choices, but for some specific trade-offs. First, let's dive into Golden Valley. The current median home value for Golden Valley is $362,500. The big draw here is definitely going to be Theodore Wirth Parkway. This is a 759-acre incredible outdoor space. It's got all the things you're looking for, and it's one of the few places where you can go to golf in the summer and cross-country ski in the winter on the same piece of land. It's Minnesota living at its finest and why a lot of people love Golden Valley. You've got hiking trails, golf courses, and in the winter, some of the best cross-country skiing like I mentioned. But here's what's really exciting for Golden Valley. It's actually in the final negotiations for a new tech campus near that park. We're talking a potential for 2,000 plus new jobs, which could seriously impact property values as demand grows for that area. One drawback you need to be aware of though with Golden Valley, the property taxes are higher than you might expect. So for a $362,500 home, for example, you're going to be looking at around $50 to $100 for those annual property taxes. That is about 15% higher than similar homes in different neighboring suburbs. So be aware of that. But here's why some people think it's worth it. Golden Valley has fantastic city services, some of the best around the Twin Cities, of course, from things like snow removal, which is very important in Minnesota, to their parks are super well maintained, and they've got a ton of top-notch community programs as well. Brooklyn Park is our other Tier 4 suburb, and this one's really interesting. There's a ton of new development and expansion that's happening. That's from places like Target, which is right in a huge tech campus on the north side, and there's also a whole number of other warehousing and manufacturing types of jobs with places like Tesla and different things like that coming in on the north side along 610. So while these big companies come in, I think that could really poise that community to be revitalized and create some great opportunity. There's also new construction happening here as well, so you're bringing in new homes, nicer homes, and higher paying jobs, which could really help out that community. Now we're getting into Tier 3 and what I call some solid choices. These are the suburbs that consistently deliver good value for the money. Now why don't we start with Woodbury. Woodbury is huge. It's one of our biggest Twin Cities suburbs. They've got 75,000 residents and they're still growing like crazy. The Bielenberg Sports Center is a major draw. That's offering everything from ice skating to baseball fields. You've got got indoor opportunities as well as outdoor. But here's what most people don't know about Woodbury. They're about to announce a major medical corridor development that's been happening, and that could bring several new specialty clinics and more research facilities to the areas, as well as a whole bunch of new jobs. The city's planning is exceptional. They've managed to maintain plenty of green spaces while allowing smart development. The trail system here is fantastic. They've got over 140 miles of paved trails, and those are really cool because they connect all the different neighborhoods. So depending on where you live, you can usually get out of your development and into the neighboring communities as well. The schools here are consistently rated 8 out of 10 or higher, and they've got particularly strong scores in the STEM programs. Our other tier 3 suburb is Plymouth, and they've got about 78,000 residents. This is one of my favorite Twin Cities suburbs for getting outside. They've got easy access to Medicine Lake, which has Clifton E. French Park, which is one of our kids' favorite. This is a great spot if you're into water sports or you just want to hang out on the lake. They've got a beach, they've got disc golf, and a whole bunch of other recreation outside. It's going to give you a similar experience to Lake Minnetonka, but without the Lake Minnetonka prices. So let me take a minute to break down something crucial that affects all of these suburbs, and that's going to be transportation. Plymouth is going to be a community that's got easy access right down 394, but it's also going to be far enough out into the suburbs to give you a little bit more of that quiet lifestyle. And this is a great location if you're looking for exactly that. You're not going to have light rail access necessarily out 394, but generally the traffic flows reasonably well up until you get into the downtown areas. Another place for great public transportation is in the southwest, where they're extending the Southwest Light Rail line that's going from Minneapolis through St. Louis Park area and then down to Eden Prairie. We're going to talk more about Eden Prairie in just a minute, but if you're looking for a great resource for finding up all the newest things happening in the Twin Cities, along with those major redevelopments and just fun stuff to do on the weekends with your family, you're going to find in the description down below a link to my newsletter. If you want to sign up for that, we'll send you a weekly email newsletter showing you all the coolest things to do around the Twin Cities. Now moving up to tier number 2, we're looking at what I consider some excellent options for most buyers, and let's start with Minnetonka. Current median home value in Minnetonka is $427,000. The schools here are stellar, 8 out of 10 rated most consistently across all of their schools. But here's what makes Minnetonka really special. It's actually not just Lake Minnetonka, but it's also the Minnehaha Creek watershed. I talk about this in a regular video. This is Minnehaha Creek, which goes all the way from Lake Minnetonka through Lake Edina, South Minneapolis, and over to the Mississippi River. This is a natural water system that creates fantastic green corridors all throughout. You've got walking trails, wildlife viewing, and some of the most beautiful fall colors you're going to find around the metro. But it's not just all about the natural beauty. Minnetonka's location makes it a perfect spot if you're trying to commute into downtown or to any of the western suburbs. And the real estate market here is really interesting because you've got such a wide range of options. You can find starter homes in the upper 300s, maybe low 400s, and then all the way up to multi-million-dollar lakefront properties. This is another area where some people will buy a $500,000 house, tear it down, and then build something brand new because there's such high demand to be close to Lake Minnetonka. But here's my insider tip. If you want to find something a little more affordable, look at the neighborhoods just south of Highway 7. They're often overlooked, but there's still some of the fantastic values if you're okay with not being directly on Lake Minnetonka. Maple Grove is our other tier 2 suburb, and this one's got about 69,000 residents. It's going to be up in the northwest side of the Twin Cities, and it's been absolutely booming. The shops at Arbor Lake is one of the major draws that's going to give you a fantastic outdoor mall type of experience. They've got tons of great restaurants and a lot of shopping, from basic everyday things to a little bit more high-end options. They've even brought in just a little IKEA mini store, I guess, in the shops of Arbor Lake. But here's what's really exciting. They also just approved a plans for a 200-acre mixed-use development. That's going to include more luxury homes. You've got more retail coming in and a man-made lake. There's also a ton of industry that's happening there with new warehouses and different office buildings. But shopping actually isn't my favorite thing about Maple Grove. That's going to be Elm Creek Park Reserve. Now this is another Three Rivers Parks District park, and it's one of our kids' favorite, absolutely. It's 4,900 acres of natural spaces. You've got mountain biking, you've got a swimming pond, you've got tons of stuff to do in the winter like cross-country skiing. They've got tubing, snowboarding, and all the outdoor things you could be looking for. And it's also got a golf course there. It's not just that it's a great park though, it's the perfect example of how we do Minnesota right. In the summer, families gather together, they can go swimming, they can go mountain biking. In the fall, you've got the spectacular fall colors, you've got more hiking trail options there. And then in the winter, it transforms into just kind of a cool winter wonderland with cross-country skiing, tubing, snowshoeing. And in the spring, that's where you're gonna see the weather start to warm up, and you've got maple syrup harvesting, which is a Minnesota tradition tons of locals love. Our final tier 2 suburb is gonna be Lakeville. This is like the friend who's great at everything but never brags about it. They've got a median home price of $425,000, and it's kind of like the Goldilocks of the South Metro. It's not too pricey, it's not too far, it's just right for a lot of people. And here's what makes it special. It's Lake Marion and Antlers Park. This is a fantastic area, again, to get outside. That's where you've got a little beach on the south side. You've got more mountain biking trails, you've got volleyball, and all kinds of water recreation right there. I also love the downtown of Lakeville. This is gonna be a great place for the food scene. You've got breweries like Lakeville Brew, you've got a fantastic burger joint called B52, there's a pizza place, there's a coffee shop, and there's a really quaint downtown in an otherwise more modern city. You've also got Buck Hill, which is located right next door. This is the little ski slope that is very well known for the South Metro. Pro tip though, if you're commuting up and down 35W, be a little careful because it can definitely get icy when they're doing their snowmaking right there. And speaking of the 35W corridor, it is turning heads faster than Minnesota weather can change. They're adding amazing retail spots and restaurants that feel like someone took the best parts of the small town and the main street and gave it a modern Minnesota makeover. And the schools, they're consistently pulling 8 out of 10 high ratings with STEM programs and a fantastic sports program as well. Pro tip for Lakeville, look at the neighborhoods near the newer developments off of Dodd Boulevard. You're going to be getting tomorrow's premium locations as they build out that area, but at today's prices. There's also a great community called Brookshire, which I love. If you want more information on that one, just let me know. Finally, let's talk about the Tier 1 suburbs. These are my absolute favorites and some of the best buy options for 2025. Starting with Edina, that's going to have a price tag of $573,800 for their median home value. But here's why it's worth it for so many buyers. First, why don't we talk about those 9 out of 10 rated schools with Edina's International Baccalaureate program. That's got a 97% diploma earning rate, and it's one of the highest in the entire country. They offer 23 advanced placement programs, and their STEM programs just won a national award for innovation. The 50th and France districts give you some of the best shopping and dining for the entire metro area, and here's what makes Edina special. It's the community. They've managed to maintain a really small town feel while offering some big city amenities. Property values here have been consistently appreciating at 4 to 5% annually, even in market downturns. The city's also got pretty strict zoning laws, and so that's kept a lot of green spaces and preserved property values within that area. And with the new Southwest Light Rail line station happening on the north side of Edina, that could help home values even more. Eden Prairie is another Tier 1 suburb, and that's going to come with a median home value of $441,000. So that is going to be significantly less expensive than Edina, but offering many of the same benefits with a little bit more of a suburban lifestyle. Their schools are equally impressive, but in different ways. They've got an incredible entrepreneurship program, which I think is fantastic. This is for high school students so they can actually start and run a business while they're in high school. Last year, they actually had one student that even secured a venture capital funding for their app idea. So how cool is that for Eden Prairie? They've got access to many different parks and trails like Round Lake, and the Minnesota River Valley on the south side provides amazing outdoor opportunities there as well. Some things that really set Eden Prairie apart is going to be their planning and their future. In addition to having the huge Eden Prairie Mall, they're also developing a little town center, which will create a more walkable downtown type of feel, which is something that this suburb has historically lacked. That project is combined with the Southwest Light Rail line extension as well, and that can make Eden Prairie even more desirable as commuting access becomes more accessible. Now, let me share something exciting that most people don't know about. There's 3 different major development projects coming that are going to affect these suburbs that could definitely change their rankings over the next few years. First of all, back to Golden Valley, they've got the tech campus happening near Theodore Wirth Parkway. That's got 2,000 plus potential jobs going there. Maple Grove's 200-acre mixed-use property, that's also going to bring a ton of new jobs in there, and luxury housing with a man-made lake. And then number 3 is going to be Plymouth's new medical corridor that's coming in. They've got specialty clinics and different research facilities there as well. Before we wrap up, why don't I give you some specific action items based on your situation. If you're a young professional working in tech, definitely keep an eye on Golden Valley and those northwest suburbs. In addition to Brooklyn Park that we talked about, I really like the areas around Champlin, Dayton, or even out towards Roger and Otsego. These are great options for people working in the tech industry. For families with school-aged kids, of course, Edina and Eden Prairie are going to have some obvious choices, but don't sleep on parts of Plymouth or Minnetonka as well. These schools are going to offer comparable quality, but they're going to be at a considerably lower price tag, usually about $100,000 less expensive. For my empty nesters downsizing, you could consider new developments in Maple Grove. They're building some fantastic maintenance-free townhomes or those one-level villas with tons of amenities, whether you want an HOA or not. There's a ton of great amenities around that community. For investors, you're going to want to keep an eye on specific parts of New Hope and Brooklyn Park. With the Blue Line extension going in, I think that new development project could definitely bring some increase in sale prices over the next 3 to 5 years. And again, those are going to be great areas as well for first-time home buyers, as they're simply a lower sale price to start with. And remember, if you need help finding your perfect Twin Cities home, I'm your guy. My name's Joe Carmack, and I'd love to help. You can find my information in the description down below. I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell around the Twin Cities, including dozens from around the world relocating to Minnesota. And if you're already living in one of these great suburbs, I'd love a comment to let us know which ones you love or don't love. And before you go, here's another video you're gonna like on the best school districts around the Twin Cities, and I put together an entire playlist right here. My name's Joe Carmack. I appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you next time.